Hello, Warcraft Replays. This is Joseki bringing you another audio commentary. This audio is copyrighted 2007 WCReplays.com, so please do not go stealing it. Today, I'm going to be doing a couple games, one or two. I haven't really decided yet. I don't even know what games I'm doing. We'll see. And I'm going to do audios on pretty much a couple games that are in my folder. I'm going to be releasing a huge replay pack pretty soon. Probably about 100 plus replays of my recent ladder expeditions. And the main reason I'm doing so is because I get a lot of requests pretty much on a day-to-day basis, you know, hey, upload more replays to the member section, or, you know, like, what do you do versus this, what do you do versus that, yada yada yada. And, you know, the way I figure it, it's good to take a look at you know, what I'm doing, and you know, just put an auto replay saver on. It doesn't hurt anyone, it just helps you guys. So when our clan site, which our clan is Without Fame Esports, clan WFS at East, when our clan site is up, I'm going to upload a little replay pack there on the front page. It's withoutfame.com. It's not really up right now. It just has sort of like our logo, and it'll probably be up within a week or two. We're getting a web designer to work on it for us, our sponsor. So once that's done, this will be a nice replay pack up there for all you guys. I play about 20 games a day right now. I know I made some gay-ass posts in the forum saying I quit, and honestly the main reason was, not against anything but most of you guys, was I was really constantly hounded or annoyed by some people, and I don't know. I don't mind being asked questions, I don't mind people asking me for games, but I kind of just wanted a break from it, so I just sort of made a new AKA, and I started laddering, not really telling too many people who I was, so I wouldn't really be getting questions. I know I'm kind of acting like a cocky celebrity, but really, I don't mean it that way at all. And I guess what is going on now is that I'm just in this clan, I'm massing ladder, and you know, I'm actually gonna do a couple games. I think I might do 3 even. Who knows? We'll see. This first game is going to be Human vs Undead on Echo Isles versus a player named Jest.Fiends. I don't know who he is. Some random undead player. In this strategy, I'm going to be doing a strategy. I'm going to outline a lot of my own mistakes too, which I think is really important. And this strategy was the first time I've ever actually tried it. First time I've ever actually attempted the strategy. The strategy is Spellbreaker Griffin, and there's a lot of theorycraft involved in the actual strategy. It involves a fast expansion, and while it does involve a fast expansion, that does not mean that it's the only route to approach this matchup. I'd just like to throw out, if you want to search replays for Vex.Marquise, he does Rifle Caster versus Undead, and he wins a lot of the time. He's very strong with it. It's a very micro-intensive strategy, but it's very powerful, and you know, that's very viable versus Undead. There's a lot of viable choices. I think Human vs Undead is one of the most diverse matchups in the game. Maybe not from the Undead perspective. I think the Undead can do a lot of things, but ultimately they're going to be going Fiends or Ghouls, and I guess that sort of limits them. When you're Human, you do have a lot more options. You can go Paladin first, MK first, AM first, with a variety of second and third heroes. You can go Knights, Griffins, Knight Griffin, Knight Gyro, Griffin Gyro, Breaker D-Hawk, D-Hawk, D-Hawk Griffin. Really, you do have a lot. You have a lot of options in terms of strategy, and it really comes down to what you're comfortable playing with. Recently, I've been kind of failing against Undead, you know, because I always brag about, you know, it's my best matchup. But right now, I'd say my best matchup is probably versus Orc, which isn't that surprising, followed by Human and Night Elf tied, and then, or Undead and Human tied, and then Night Elf last. But my Night Elf's been improving a lot as well. I would say, in this particular game, I do make quite a few mistakes, and you're going to be able to very easily see the mistakes. Keep in mind, this is the first time I played the strategy. I do still pull out a win. My opponent also makes mistakes. It's not a perfect game by any means. However, it does outline the strategy relatively well. So, I'm paused at the 2-minute mark, which I told you to at the start of the audio. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And I'm going to be unpausing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, so as you can see, I went Archmage here, and I'm calling my 3 militia to go and creep up this top camp. Usually this is just the camp you want to creep in almost every matchup in Human vs Orc. It's just a good, solid camp. It's very easy to creep. You send your Water Elemental in first, aggro the creeps with the Elemental, and then just attack the creeps. It's very simple camp to creep. It doesn't really even take much practice. You can probably do it just after watching it one time. Very simple. However, it shouldn't be underrated. You see how much experience you can get off that one green. I'm 2/3 of the way to level 2. So as you can see, it's a very nice camp early on, and it offers you pretty decent items. You can get a circlet, which is always the best thing you can be getting off of any creeps that drop that level of item. There's like circle protection too, some other things. I'd say circlet is always your best choice. I got circle protection. I usually sell items like that. They're not that particularly valuable to me. His DK harass here is kind of standard, and whenever they send skellies into your base, just call a couple militia. Basically anytime they do it, even if you have an arcane tower, you don't want your militia or your peasants falling below 100 HP, because essentially what's going to happen in that case is as soon as your peasants fall below 100 HP, they can just run in, coil, run away, so it's sort of a pain in the ass. So overall, a way better choice to just call some militia and just deal with the skeletons as fast as you can. You're only losing a bit of lumber, and you'd probably be losing a lot more lumber in the event that you actually lost a peasant, because that guy can provide you with lumber throughout the entire game. So, sorry, I have a bit of a cough. Alright, sorry. So now, usually in this map, this is my very standard. I've been doing this creeping pattern for a really long time. I have other creeping patterns I do, but this is my personal favorite. Mostly because it offers me level 3 and mercs, which renders me very easy to beat a ghoul push. And ghouls are extremely annoying on the level that they can kill peasants, and while they may lose a couple ghouls, if you lose 5 peasants, it renders you a lot more vulnerable to a destro push. Oftentimes, you'll find yourself in a situation where you've just lost several destroyers, or not destroyers, you've just lost several peasants, and you have one arcane tower up, you've barely started your expansion, you have one peasant left on that expo, you gotta call militia down there, and it's like, it forces you to stay at tier 1 to get more lumber and more towers, is what it does. I don't prefer to, if I have a choice in the matter, I don't like making towers. You don't understand, undead players, I'm begging you, stop doing that destro push bullshit. It's really annoying. I don't like massing towers. It's not as fun as one would imagine it to be. I mean, fuck. You go ahead and you mass your 10 towers, and then you go tier 3. Yeah, it's really not that fun, because it forces me to do something I really don't need, and it forces a really long game. And I like shorter games. I have a more aggressive play style, which is why I like level 3 and mercs on this map, so I can harass. And don't do that destro push stuff. You can destro push, but don't go solo DK and just rush me when I'm still halfway to tier 2 with all these destroyers, and I have to make I scout it and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have so much fun making them 400 towers, fuck, it's not fun. It's not fun for me, it's not fun for you, so just stop doing it. So that was my little rant. Anyway, I sort of missed kind of a key point I was trying to make. Anytime ghouls run into your main, it is extremely, crucially important you just militia up your shit right away, because with an arcane tower and militia, it's very, very easy to just fend off any large amount of ghouls. The main thing I did, which is very important, is don't run your whole army back to your main. Keep part of your army separated at your expansion and part of it at your main, because what the undeads will often do is they'll bullshit you with some 5 ghoul harass at your main with their DK, and they'll just fucking send in 2 little shits, force you to pull your army up there, or not force you, but trick you into pulling your army up there, and then send 10 ghouls to your expo, rape all your peasants, cancel your expo, you lose the game. It's happened to me multiple times, and it took me a few times to figure it out, and not so much to figure out, but to learn exactly how retarded I am. It isn't this super, it's not a super hard concept, but it's really easy to get fooled by shit like that. There's a lot of strategies in the game StarCraft, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, where the Zerg player will, sorry, I'm gonna rant a little. The Zerg player will drop 2 lurkers on your main, you'll pull your whole fucking army back, and then they'll send their whole army in to rape your expo, and it's fuck, I'm a dumbass. Yeah. So you gotta watch for shit like that, trickery, because the higher up in ladder you get, I think this guy was 14 and 3 at the time I played him, the higher up in ladder you get, more realistically,